Oh, the all-seeing eye.
What's up, fellers?
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of Cover to Cover. Tonight, one of the longest freaking music album titles ever, besides some other bands. But Tool had one that was ridiculous. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. Often lauded as a classic album. For me, it's right up there. It's not one of my favorite albums, but I think it's definitely a classic album. Earned its ropes. It is Bowie's fifth studio album, and I guess it's kind of another one of those deals where you don't realize how many there were before that, kind of like Pink Floyd. Like Pink Floyd had Dark Side of the Moon, and it was already, that was what, their sixth or seventh album. So Bowie had been at it for a while, and I didn't realize how much he had done before his first solo album, before he changed his name. He had done a few recordings, maybe a couple singles under his real name, David Jones. But this album, I think, is one of the ones, besides Hunky Dory, the previous album, that kind of put him up there and made him kind of a household name. It was released on June 16th of 1972, so it celebrated another big anniversary album that we're doing here, 50th anniversary. It was released on RCA. This was his second record for RCA, and it was the second of a 3-record deal that he would end up continuing on till the end of the decade of the 70s. It was recorded between July of 71 and February of 72 at Trident Studios, and Trident is famous for holding a lot of household names. Lou Reed's Transformer was recorded there. The first 3 Queen albums would later be recorded there. Hey Jude was recorded there, and a plethora of other bands. It was recorded by Ken Scott, who is a producer that Dave Bowie had worked with several times, and Bowie himself. The material was written right around the same time they were recording Hunky Dory, and they basically finished recording Hunky Dory and almost immediately went into sessions for this album. So they were basically done back to back. So they're kind of sister albums. Hunky Dory is like the segue into his Ziggy Stardust phase. And it was continued on with Aladdin Sane and Diamond Dogs. I know Unruly will probably back me up on that. Here's where it gets kind of funny. He had ideas of turning it into a musical. And this is where comparisons get thrown between it and Tommy. I know critics, what I was reading was critics at the time were comparing it to Tommy, and the not potential is not the word I'm looking for, but the potency of the lyrics and the settings and stuff. Another interesting to note, it shares space in the Library of Congress with another album that we did, Master of Puppets. It's recognized as culturally and historically and artistically significant, just like Master of Puppets. One from the 80s and one from the 70s. So it's sets it up. I also just looked it up because I forgot to earlier. The only people that were involved in this album that are still living are Mick Woodmansey, the drummer, and Ken Scott, the producer. Everybody else is gone.
That's super interesting fact right there. Wow.
I got to thinking about it because I knew Bowie was gone, and I knew Mick Ronson had died 30 years ago. And Trevor Boulder passed away a few years ago. And he was kind of known for his mutton chops. He had these great big mutton chops that hung way down. It was like he grew a long beard and shaved the middle out of it. It was funky as hell.
This sounds like something out of Sgt. Pepper. Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, and it was totally 70s though, especially early 70s. Something you would see with this type of band or this type of music. And this period kind of puts a stamp on Bowie with the glam rock and proto punk. Others had said that nobody else did it like him, and I agree with that. Bowie was like he's the archetype of that subgenre.
Yeah.
Other bands that followed, like the Sweet, and but I know I'm gonna take a break from some of the information, and I know somebody else is chomping at the bit to talk a little bit.
I can't look at Little Bo, bro. He's making me laugh, man. Don't stare. Dude, you just nailed it. He was the best at this, right? He was probably the first, and he nailed this. He nailed the glam. He nailed it. He set it. He set the bar super high. Everybody else is underneath him, and I read a little bit more too, and it was like he abandoned it within 2 years. He was done with Ziggy,
yep,
and move on to something else. And to me, dude, that's the biggest part. That's the biggest part, that he jumped, and then he continually did it during his career. You know, kind of like Madonna's a lot like that. She changes her style, and you know, they don't go on forever, but they're always relevant, you know? And that's totally won me over.
Just long enough for other people to start picking up on it, then like on to something new.
Dude, that's a
trendsetter.
Scary thing to do.
How
old was he when he put out this album? I don't know how old. Do you have any idea? Was he? I guess
26. 25.
Dude, to have the balls at that age.
Yeah, he was 25 when he put it out.
To have the balls at that age, just to bro, I couldn't do that at my age now, dude. That's crazy. You try to ride that wave as long as it takes you. He jumped off, and it was the greatest decision he ever made.
Yeah, because instead of kind of like they use the term in acting, like typecasting. It kept him from being typecasted because he could go on to other things that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be, dare I say, AC/DC.
Yes.
The same. Not.
Yeah. The same formula.
Right. Not the same. I love AC/DC.
Yeah.
That formula freaking works.
Right.
But it's nice to be able, as an artist, it's nice to be able to play around.
Yeah, dude, that's
if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know,
big cojones to do that shit, dude. That's props to David Bowie, man. That blew me away. But
well, the other thing that I read was in regards to the tour, that he, because it of it coalesced so well, or whatever, he began to have trouble deciphering who was who. Was he David Bowie, or was he Ziggy Stardust? And that's when the character started to evolve. He with the next album, it was still Ziggy, but it was kind of something different.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's crazy what he did, dude. And yeah, like he didn't know, dude. Imagine these guys when they blow up like that. How do you control your ego, man? You know, it's just like everybody loves me. Mm-hmm. How can, dude, that'll affect anybody, man. That'll drive anybody nuts. It's unimaginable to us that, you know, and he's a badass, bro. The man was a badass.
Yeah.
I gotta separate this. I gotta come back down to earth. It's almost like he got humbled. He humbled himself, or something humbled him. Mm-hmm. So it's like, dude, you're not that freaking, you know, you're just a guy, and you hit on something, and it's freaking awesome. But chill. It's pretty amazing. I don't know. I think it's a great story. It says a lot about
him. Aside from the musical aspect of it, it was conceived as a concept album, which you can blatantly see the complete concept, the whole story of this character from out in the final frontier, or whatever you want to say, to coin Star Trek, and how he's introduces himself within the songs, like the coming down to earth, and Moon Age Daydream, and all that stuff.
Donnie, you obviously have heard this whole album before, correct?
Oh no, this is the first time.
This is the first time you've ever heard it? You liar.
Mine too. This is my first time.
It's not his first time. He's lying. You liar.
I've been listening to this album for about 20 years.
Okay. I had never heard this album either. I knew songs from it, but I had never heard it.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is one of those impact albums, mm-hmm. because just about every song, even though despite you may not have heard the album, you have heard individual songs from the album.
Yes.
Whether it be in a movie, or because I was listening to it at work the other day, and one of the IT techs came in, and I was out writing packages or something. I don't know what, I can't remember what I was doing, but I was out of the office, and he was sitting there, and he started talking about how I believe it's Moon Age Daydream is in The Martian, which is one of those movies that's on my list because I'm a space fanatic. It's probably one of the reasons I like this album as much as I do. And I was like, yeah, this song's been in a lot of stuff.
Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians. Let me scroll down here into the track list, and because I always get fun because it flows so well. I always forget some of the names of the songs. But you like Starman. I can't remember if Starman was in the Jeff Bridges movie or not. I think it was.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Starman was just in the Pistols series about the Sex Pistols.
Okay.
What was that on?
I don't remember.
I'll look it up. I gotta.
But the backstory that involved Bowie with the Sex Pistols was Steve Jones before they started the Pistols.
Mm-hmm.
Him and another guy or a couple friends, they broke into the venue that Bowie was going to be playing at and stole a bunch of his equipment. They stole like some amps and microphones and stuff like that.
Dude, that's classic, bro. That's so punk, bro. That's so badass.
And then he started to learn how to play guitar, and the rest is history.
Dude, how awesome is that? That is punk as hell, bro. I love that.
They used Starman in that particular episode a few times.
Oh, I gotta watch that. I gotta look that up.
Pretty decent show.
Dude, that's a great story.
And also, if I recall right, years ago I got a David Bowie CD from one of those things like you said you got Hialeah, like 12 CDs for a penny type thing.
Yeah, the Columbia House.
Columbia
House,
Then you change your name and then you sign in with another name, same address.
I got like a best of. I picked like a best of album from Bowie, but it was like everything before this album.
Right.
And I just couldn't get into it. It had like one good song on it. Everything else was garbage, and I could never get into Bowie. And so I really never went back to like check out his Ziggy Stardust stuff.
Right.
Except for the stuff I heard here and there, obviously.
The hits,
but that was my introduction into Bowie. That and in the 90s when he hooked up with Trent Reznor.
Mm-hmm.
And they did some stuff with Trent Reznor.
I got into Bowie with MTV. When MTV started and they started showing like Ashes to Ashes, which is probably my favorite song. Has always been my favorite Bowie song, Ashes to Ashes. I listen to that a lot. And then songs here and there in the videos, but and then when he blew up with Modern Love and China Girl and what was the big one? Oh my God, Let's Dance.
Mm-hmm.
Came up with that album. That I think it was Modern Love, the name of the album. That was all in that time period where Bruce Springsteen blew up, Michael Jackson blew up, Madonna blew up, Prince, the Police, and he blew up, right? And he was massive. But I never got into all the little nitty gritty stuff, and that except for the hits here and there until I heard this.
Same here.
I never went back to look into it for deeper.
My introduction to this album was one of those post college deals. I was living with some people who were still in college, and one guy that I roomed with, he introduced me to the Watchmen comic as well, but because he was big into comics, and he started introducing me to a lot of these other bands like Joy Division and New Order and stuff like that.
The new wave stuff.
Yeah, and he had Hunky Dory and this album, and I borrowed them and was playing them quite a bit, and I was like, damn, I ended up going and buying them, and I was like, continued to listen to it on a semi-regular basis. It wasn't one of those deals where I was, letting it sit in my CD player for weeks and months on end. But sometimes, yeah, take a break from certain things. Oh, the musical aspect. He had the idea to write a musical associated with it. That went by the wayside, but he later used elements from that for the Diamond Dogs album, which is kind of like there was Ziggy, Aladdin Sane, and Diamond Dogs, and then Young Americans is when he changed the whole persona. He dropped it, and he's like, "This is the direction I'm going now." And Diamond Dogs, they actually did produce a musical for it. The producer had talked about how he knew exactly what he wanted to do with each track. So each one was almost succinctly produced in one take, near one take. Woodmansbury had said that they would record it. They did it live. They record it, and they'd listen to it back. And if it was what they wanted, they went with it. If it wasn't, they just re-recorded it and then moved on. But they moved very fast, according to him and the producer. In the production, it just moved very fast and very, very quickly. Bowie had previous albums with Mick, kind of left him hanging on what direction he wanted to do, as far as like his guitar parts. With this album, he kind of calmed down and he would hum the solos to Mick so that Mick knew exactly what he wanted. The three guys that played on this, who with this album became the Spiders from Mars, had also played on Hunky Dory, and that's kind of what cohedes those two albums as kind of sister albums, like the before and after type deal. It pulls inspirations from guys like Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, and Vince Taylor. And Vince Taylor was an English pop artist, rockabilly artist in the 50s and early 60s. And he had a song that Boat should know because it was recorded by the Clash. It's on London Calling. What the hell's it called? Bought a Cadillac. Is it that? It's Taylor. Brand new Cadillac. I listened to that song earlier. I was like, oh, I know this song. He offered Suffragette City to Mott the Hoople.
He offered it?
Yes. At the time, they were going to break up. They were getting ready to break up, and he offered that song to Suffragette City or to Mott the Hoople, and they declined. So he ended up writing a brand new song, which is All the Young Dudes. and that is pretty much their biggest hit. In fact, he produced the album that it's on. But that's kind of a nice little loose tie between this album and Mott the Hoople, was that because they declined Suffragette City, they ended up with their biggest hit. You know,
I can't see those songs done by if it was the other way around. Right? You can't see Mott the Hoople doing Suffragette City, right? You can't imagine.
No.
It would not have been anything.
It's too. It's too 50s R&B for Mott the Hoople.
Right. But then you can't see Bowie doing all the young, you know, all the young dudes.
Yet he did.
He did?
Yep. He recorded his own version for Aladdin Sane.
But is it famous?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
It's not as big as the Mott the Hoople version.
Right. That's you know, it's exactly. He didn't top their version.
Right.
Ooh,
and I don't think he would have wanted to anyway, because Mott the Hoople is one of his. They're like his favorite band.
So why do it?
Yeah.
So why do it?
Because he did write it. A lot of times, singer-songwriters, even though they've given a song to someone else, they go on look like Dolly Parton. Who else? Carole King.
Oh, it's kind of a shitty move, man. I'm sorry. I think it's a shitty move.
It is his song.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It just sounds a little shitty. Oh my god! I'm gonna shut up.
It's not really. I don't think it's any different than doing a cover. And it being bigger.
I never thought about it. I don't know.
But it wasn't bigger anyway.
No, it wasn't. I still like David Bowie. I still like him. I admire him a lot. Have you guys ever seen this interview that he gave on MTV? Have you ever seen that interview? I think it's one of the original DJs is interviewing him, and he starts going after him on why MTV doesn't put on black performers. And it is the tension in the air, dude. And he was just amazing in that interview. It's like I forget the VJ was just like, oh my god. I just want to shrink like, you know, Fred Flintstone and just you know, you see the headlights, you know, the headlights are coming, bro, and I can't get out of the way moment for that guy. I think his name was Goodson, in my opinion. And David Bowie was he was a gentleman during the whole time, man, and it was just so tense. If you just look up David Bowie MTV interview, and that'll probably pop up when you have time. It's really good. It was a really good moment. It was a big moment when he did that. Why am I talking about that?
Seemed relevant at the time.
I guess it did. But he's cool. Oh, because I like David Bowie. That's right.
I'm gonna bring up the album cover. We talk about that a little bit. What the hell? Window. Where's it at? That one. There it is. Boom. So it's an actual photo.
Oh, okay.
It was done in monochrome, which is a technique where shows limited lighting and colors, and I'm assuming it was done in black and white monochrome, and then it was retouched or recolored. The photographer was Brian Ward, who had also taken the picture for Hunky Dory, and the illustrator is Terry Pastor, who had also done the recoloring on Hunky Dory. The photo was taken outside of this business, like mercantile business.
Or it could be the home of Kanye West.
It could be the home of Kanye West. I've heard that rumor. I have heard that rumor.
Nostradamus right here, bro. He was Nostradamus.
Yeah. It was taken at Ward's Headon Street in London. The home of Furriers K. West at 13 Headon Street, according to whoever Can is. The K stands for Kahn, the surname of the company's founder, Henry Kahn, and the West indicated that it was in the West End of London. And Furriers, they're, they make coats, shit like that.
What's that in the bottom right corner?
That's what I was wondering. I don't know if you're able to zoom in on it, but I was looking at it and there's like a face in it.
It's like an alien.
I'm not sure what that is.
It's like an alien or something.
Is that a bag of trash?
What is that, dude?
I don't know, but
maybe
this stuff here looks like boxes.
Boxes.
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe that's a bag of trash. I don't know.
Why is that reflective?
That's weird.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Yeah. But it was it is the West End. I don't know. They had taken the photo in it was a rainy day, and it was in January, rainy day in January in London, and Bowie had the flu, so he kind of gets this Gene Kelly singing in the rain moment when he's getting the photo taken. He's got the flu, and the band decides to stay inside, and he goes out and gets his photo taken. He didn't want to stray too far because of what he was feeling like, and they took the picture, and the company, or the place that the place of business there, they weren't very impressed when they saw the album cover, because they felt that it our clients are furriers of high repute who deal with a clientele generally far removed from the pop music world, so they felt that it would reflect badly on them. It doesn't really say how it was kind of resolved. They didn't really sue. They didn't take suit with them. They just weren't very impressed. Says tensions eased and the company soon became accustomed to tourists photographing themselves on the doorstep. So in a way, it worked out, I guess.
Is it still there?
It says the company moved out of that location and the sign was taken down. The site remains a popular place of pilgrimage for Bowie fans. It's such a shame that the sign was removed, Bowie said. People read so much into it, they thought K West must be some sort of code for Quest. I've heard that rumor too. It took on all sort of mystical overtones. The album cover was selected by the Royal Postal Service, Royal Mail, for one of their postage stamps, classic album cover postage stamps.
That's it now, Bo?
I don't know if it's now or not, but it's kind of
One of
one of the more recent ones.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, now I see it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like the album cover myself. I think it looks good.
I do as well.
I want to highlight the back album cover as well.
That's cool too, man.
I always like the look of it, the layout of the tracks.
Yeah.
And then up at top where it says to be played at maximum volume.
Wow. That's a cool thing to add.
Yeah.
That's a nice back cover, dude. That's a badass back cover.
Yeah. And I believe this is for the re-release or the CD release, maybe.
Yeah.
It's 1990. That I pulled this one off. Bonus tracks and so forth.
Get to the soul, son. Let's get to the soul. Was it good?
I thought so.
Heck yeah, I liked it. For me, it was like after the first couple songs, the album took off.
Yeah, I think the first like 2 or 3 were like the.
Don't get me wrong, 5 Years was pretty good opening song, but after the first 2, it kind of picks up.
I heard this. I started hearing this album like the week after our last show, right? I got 3 songs in, and I didn't come back to it until 7:00 tonight.
That's about me too. Like the next day after we had last week or the other show, I started listening to it, but I only got, like you said, about 3 songs or so in. 4 songs, listening to it on the way home from work, and that was it.
Okay.
So
my wife isn't into music. She can't tell you. She could name a few people, but she's a pop, whatever's on the radio kind of person. She really doesn't know. She can't tell you anybody who. Michael Jackson, she might know. She's like, so I had never done this, so I put this on YouTube in my room and I started listening to it, and I started going track by track and asking her, "Is this good? What do you think of this? What do you think of this?" And we were just doing that, right? So I remember the first time I only got 3 songs in. Man, I do not like that first song. Man, I do not like that second song, and she was going with me. I didn't like them either. Started listening to the third song, and at the end, the ending of that song, I was like, "Oh shit, this is fucking this just went up a notch." Right at the end of the third song, And then the fourth song.
Yeah. Starman's great.
I had heard it before, but I had never heard it like I heard it tonight.
And that's like, and that was like when I said I heard the song before, but when I heard it while watching the Pistol show, I don't know, like it just like how you said it brought something to light to where it's probably one of my top Bowie songs of all time.
I stated earlier that Ashes to Ashes has always been my favorite Bowie song. Now that's number 2, and it's not even close. Starman. Okay, I'm Cuban.
No, you don't say. Is
Yes,
that
yes.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
My mom never really learned how to speak English. She knew a few phrases. My dad could speak well. He had the accent, but he could speak well. And me growing up, we have very little family. It's just us, the 4 of us, whatever. My mom would talk about the Beatles like they were aliens from another planet. They were so big. The Beatles and Elvis for her were like the biggest, and she didn't know a lick of English, and she knew the Beatles were special. Starman is the closest thing I've ever heard anybody come to the Beatles. Is what I'm trying to get at. That, like the first couple of songs, you could hear Velvet Underground and that kind of experimentation on them trying to do this, but they're not. The songs are clunky.
Those two have a similar pacing that track 3 on does not have.
Right, but they're clunky. They're hard. They're not, in my opinion, they're not good songs. But I could see what he's doing. And
they're setup songs.
Right, but when that guitar at the end of 3 and it goes into Starman, it's like the color came on in The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking amazing. Right? It just blew my mind. And my wife was, and when we were listening to it, I just got lost. My wife she goes, okay, yeah, that one's pretty, not as big as what I was thinking it was, but she was like, no, that song is really good.
Yeah.
That song is, I don't care what any other songs, and I like other songs on this album. That song alone, this makes this album freaking amazing. That setup, it just blew my mind. It was just, I heard it, I did it again, and I heard it again, just that section, and going into Starman, it's like, oh my God.
It's kind of the crescendo for side 1.
Yes,
it's you have the first 2 tracks setting up the story. That's his journey here. And then Moonay's Daydream, he tells you who he is. And then Starman, he shows you who he is.
Bro, it's great. Every time he says it's the star, oh my God. No wonder it's been used so much in commercials all over the place, man. It's a freaking, it hits you in the stomach, man. It's big. It's gorgeous.
It is. I agree. Like I said, if you watch that Pistol show, you'll hear that song, and it's great.
Dude. My goodness. Okay. We could go on some more.
What
is Little Bowls? Come on. What do you think?
My favorite track is Mooney's Daydream, and it's a bit biased because this was one of the songs on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, and there was a time where this CD was being played every day,
every car trip,
every on repeat.
Same in our house. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids really like that soundtrack. Both of them. They like both of them.
They're great soundtracks.
I was also blown away from it going into Starman to It Ain't Easy. It Ain't Easy I really like that one too.
I like it as well. I like it as
a cover.
I said 3, 4, 5 was like bang, bang, bang.
Yep. he just slid that in there like nobody would notice, and he kind of made it his own.
It's good. Who was the original? Who's the original?
I gotta find it because that don't have a clickable link.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's cool. You can look it up after.
It's been covered by a lot of people.
Mm.
Three Dog Night was probably the most well-known version. I love that version.
That's the one that just came up first, right? It just came up super fast.
Yeah, 70.
It was. Well, what's the album? Ron Davies.
From the Kinks?
No,
that's Ray Davies, right?
That's Ray Davies. Yeah. Ron Davies was a singer, just a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote for a lot of people. See, Three Dog Night he wrote. But yeah, it was recorded by Three Dog Night, Long John Baldry, David Bowie, Helen Reddy, George Jones.
I like it. I like that song.
Yeah. Actually, I have the Three Dog Night version on 45. I don't know who in my family had it. Maybe my sister. I don't know. Let's get back to the tracks.
What came after? Left.
Now the main question is, what was the worst track?
I'm gonna go with what is it? Soul Lover? Is that what it says?
Soul Love?
Yeah, Soul Love. I might go with that one.
So, I mean, Soul Love just sounds like it should be part of 5 years. You know what I mean? The two of them went together.
Yeah.
One that I usually never notice is Star, and I don't know why that is.
I feel like the last song was pretty underwhelming.
That too.
And it really just like faded away.
Yeah.
That would probably be my pick for least favorite.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, Lady, what is it? Lady Stardust, Star, Hang On to Yourself. It's like I never even hear those songs. It's like those songs were like, let me get to, Ziggy Stardust, which is freaking amazing. Then Suffragette City, and then Rock and Roll Suicide was it's okay.
Suffragette City is probably my all-time favorite David Bowie song.
It's freaking great.
Great song. And then Starman would probably be number 2.
Yeah, to me, I like a few.
I always remember. Do you remember? Okay, so the band NXS.
Yes.
After Michael Hutchinson's death,
Mm-hmm.
the band took a hiatus, but then they reconvened and they did that show.
Mm-hmm. Find a Singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of the contestants. It was a girl doing that song, and that was the first time I had ever heard that song. And I was like, that's a really cool song.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward a couple years later, when I'm listening to this album for the first time, and I'm like, oh my God, that's that freaking song. And I never made the connection that it was Bowie. Before that, never knew. Apparently I wasn't paying attention when they were talking about it on the show. I don't know. But I agree with Jim. That's probably up there. Ziggy Stardust. Moon Age Daydream. It's probably my favorite.
They're freaking great.
I've always been. It's a setup song, but I've always been kind of fond of 5 years. I don't know why.
It's not
the flow of it. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think 5 years is bad. It's really the hook, the chorus and stuff that kind of brings that song to
right. Yes.
Everything else, it's yeah.
But the chorus is okay.
It's catchy.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly the way I see it. Starman, all timer, dude. That's magic in a bottle, in a song. That song is perfect.
Starman,
Let the children boogie.
waiting in the sky.
It's great.
No, you'll blow your mind.
You do karaoke? Master Don, you never get up and do karaoke?
No.
Dude, you could do it. You could carry it, yeah. That's not bad. You should do it.
No.
You should do it with your kids, man. Have you guys ever done that karaoke? Oh my god, with the kids.
We have a karaoke machine.
You should do it, dude. You don't sound bad.
Hey,
I've never hooked it up to the TV though.
Make a music video. Do the old Stardust face paint and
Yeah.
Hey, you don't sound bad, man. I'm being totally honest. You don't sound bad.
Nah.
Yeah, dude, I can't sing with the crop. I'm not even gonna try, but you didn't sound bad, dude. Give it a try. I'm sure the girls are gonna have a blast. They always make fun of me when I do it, though. My God, they kill me. You have the same monotone voice in all your songs.
Hey, looky here, looky here.
Hey, what's up, poor Mike?
hey, Mike.
Long time no see. So, is it a nay or a yay for this album? Yeah, I'm good, man.
I give it a yay.
I also admire him, man. Look at that interview on MTV. It's so awkward. So good.
I just feel sorry it took me so long to listen to this album because, I feel like I missed out.
Yeah, definitely. It's all good, Mike. We all have.
Well, I'm gonna hit you with some recommendations. Definitely check out the sister album Hunky Dory. Aladdin Sane, the follow-up album, very good. The Man Who Sold the World, which was the album before Hunky Dory, and also a very post Ziggy Stardust album. This is quite a few years later, 77, I think, is Low. It's a kind of somewhat of an electronic type album. I think it's very underrated. I really dug it when I listened. I have it, but when I listened to it, I really dug it. I was just gonna say something else. I forgot what I was gonna say. I hate that. I'm getting old. Don't get old, little boat.
Welcome to my world, Donnie. Welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world. Anyway, so yeah, Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Long ass motherfucking title. Chicken Butt. What?
That must be a Pennsylvania thing, Donnie. I don't know. Me and Bo don't know what that's all about. That must be a Pennsylvania thing.
Guess what? Chicken Butt. Yeah. Yeah, it's a joke. We saw it. It was in a birthday card.
Oh, okay.
That's what I know it from. Guess
Did
what? Chicken Butt.
Was that card only issued in Pennsylvania?
I don't know. I don't know. Baby. It was I got it for my nephew. It said, "Guess what?" on the cover, and you open it up, and there's this chicken sticking its ass at you. It's a chicken butt.
Okay.
There you go.
Chicken butt.
Chicken butt. Must be a fun little rhyme. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I was going to say. I can't remember.
Let it go.
Oh, the documentary. I came across a documentary, much akin to. I'm going to look for that. What you said, Hialeah. Put the link in the description. But there's another documentary that the BBC did. I forget what it's called, but when I saved it to my watch list, so I'm going to throw that in the description below. You check that out. I'd started to watch it, and it started to talk about Bowie, how during this phase he appeared in the persona on the TV, and it was like he just magically appeared, and part of the ethos, part of the story, and then much like he appeared, like you said at the beginning of the show, he cut it off, like a bad appendage.
I hate those.
Bad appendages? Yeah. Me too. All right. Get rid of this.
So what's next?
How many albums are left?
Probably
Not
like
many.
less than 10.
Probably 78.
7 albums. 78.
We still got to add back to the wheel, right?
How about we all give suggestions? I mean, we all have, like, you give 10 albums, you give 10, all of us, we'll see what the number is. And
Well,
stories that we haven't done already.
yeah, I've already started thinking about that, and I know one that's going to be thrown on the wheel because Little Boat mentioned it a while back, but I don't know which album he would like to do. It's System of a Down. I'm fond of all their albums, so it does not matter to me.
Their first one is my favorite.
Yeah,
That's the one
Toxic
back
Snakes.
in the day when I heard. No, that was like their second.
Yeah. I
Such
think that
a
was
great
probably
album.
the famous one.
I've
Yeah,
never
they're self-titled.
heard one of their albums.
So the self-titled one's the best, I think. That's my opinion.
I always like the first of the well, I like those, but the first 2 albums, but the first of the double album I really like because the change ups in it are ridiculous. But anyway, so what we got left are Never Mind the Bollocks. Here's the sex one. Eliminator.
Hulu, Raul. The Pistol Show.
The Pistol Show, yeah, definitely.
It's on Hulu.
Oh, it is on Hulu. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, can we talk?
Sgt. Pepper, Lonely Heart.
Can we talk?
Band,
Sorry.
London Calling, Tom Petty, and the Heartbreakers' first album, Zeppelin 2, and the White Album.
Okay. There's a few albums that don't belong in here compared to the other ones. There's some massive albums here, and then there's a couple albums that you could see it in tears.
Damn.
Almost. It was
London Call.
That's right. That's gonna be the last one.
I think so. I'm thinking
Watch.
so.
Next is going to be Eliminator after this one.
Yes, it is. It's going to be Eliminator. I see where your thinking is going. I like it. Tom Petty Tonight for next time is perfect. That was the perfect album to pick. Eliminator is after. London Calling, we will see where it falls.
Tom Petty, Florida Boy.
Tom Petty.
Very,
Well,
very. I don't think he gets his due. Tom Petty.
Next episode, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Self-titled.
Self-titled.
All right. What year did that come out?
76.
Wow. I didn't know it was that early.
Yep.
I was gonna guess 80.
God, they were so young too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What did he die of?
I think it was like overdose, wasn't it?
No,
Oh no, it was not an overdose. No,
he didn't do that.
That's what it was.
I thought it was like a heart attack or something. No, wasn't it sudden?
Yeah, it was. I can't remember.
I'll tell you. Hold on.
Didn't he had something that was not known?
Yeah, I believe that's what I remember too. That he had an ailment, right? Or he had a defect or something.
Yeah.
Multi-system organ failure due to cardiodiplomism failure due to mixed drug toxicity.
I knew it was drug related, but
It was an accidental overdose.
yeah,
It was.
It was a combination of fentanyl, oxycodone, and acetylfentanyl and and opioids and this.
Damn, both.
Woo! Two big words. But
Both
anyway,
for the win, man. You nailed it. Wow.
it looked like he was probably taking a bunch of prescription drugs that he ended up mixing them all and.
I didn't know he had emphysema. Well, he had a fractured hip.
A fractured hip. What? And he got addicted to those drugs or something?
Yeah. Prescribed pain medications. Okay. Says it is our feeling that the pain was simply unbearable and was the cause of his overuse of the medications.
Okay. Damn, that sucks.
An unfortunate accident.
That sucks.
So,
more on Tom Petty next time on Cover 2.
in the meantime, get out there and listen to some music.
Do it.